everybody, it's Nina. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today I want to share a card with you that features the new Simon Says Stamp Blissful card kit. I'm going to be doing some watercoloring and creating a beautiful watercolored floral arrangement that has some pretty pearlized accents. The pearlized accents are a great addition to this image and adds a lot of really beautiful interest. Now again, this card features the new Simon Says Stamp card kit for the month of June. This is the card kit Blissful and has a lot of really beautiful, elegant products included in this kit that are perfect for using to create wedding and anniversary themed cards. So I'm going to be using the stamp set here. This is the Floral Bliss stamp set. And I'm also going to be pairing this with the Daniel Smith watercolors included in the kit and also the Gansai Tambi watercolor palettes. So I have the Starry colors here and the Pearl colors. These are both palettes from Gansai Tambi and perfect for using to create pearlized accents on your cards or paint directly with them. I'm going to be using them more for the accents today instead of completely coloring an image with them. So I'm going to mount my paper into my MISTI stamping tool. This is cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I've already positioned where I want my stamps to be. I stamped the floral arrangement on the top, and now I'm going to stamp it along the bottom. And I'm using some Simon Says Stamp Barely Beige ink, which is also included in the kit. I've stamped it quite a few times because watercolor paper, of course, is textured and also this ink is very light. So I want to make sure it shows up well enough that I can see it as I'm painting. So by stamping it a couple of times, I'm able to achieve a darker impression. I'm adding some water to my Daniel Smith watercolors just to reactivate them a little bit and help them get ready to move as I'm ready to do my painting. I'm going to start painting the images and first apply a single layer over top of every image in my floral arrangement. I'm using quinacridone rose, quinacridone gold, ultramarine blue, and also sap green for the colors here. I'm going to mix them to create my own custom colors, and I'll be able to color in all of these images fairly quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you watch the coloring here for a couple of minutes while I add in the first layer, and then I will come back when we're ready to add a second layer. Alright, so my first layers are done, and now I'm ready to start adding in some additional layers. Now the reason I'm adding the additional layers is because this is going to add some dimension to my watercoloring. You can see that the coloring is fairly flat. And with any watercoloring, you can get better dimension with your coloring as you let things dry and you add additional layers on top. So you can see that's what I'm doing here. I'm adding additional shading to many of the images in this floral arrangement. And I'm blending out the color with my water brush. So as I'm adding the color down towards the areas where I want it to be darkest, I fade it out with water. and that's going to allow it to have darker areas, and then the lighter areas are what was our first layer underneath. You're not reactivating much of the watercolor, especially with these Daniel Smith watercolors. They don't react a whole lot once they've dried. Most watercolors do not. Certain inks, such as the distress inks, do reactivate a little bit more. Like any watercolor, you want to make sure you experiment first before creating your final project. Some watercolors react a little bit more to water than others, so you may reactivate some of the watercolor underneath your additional layers. So just play around and see how your watercolors react to additional layering. But this is a really great way to add some really nice dimension to your coloring. So now it's time to add in the pearlized accents. So I'm bringing in first the pearl colors, which are a rainbow of gorgeous, stunning pearlized watercolors. I'm adding it only in accents here. I want to make sure that I allow the watercoloring that I did underneath to have center focus. So I'm adding some of the pink onto the roses. I'm going over top of some of the blue flowers with the blue, mixing up my own purple so I can add that over top of the purple buds here. And like I said, I'm not covering these images completely with this pearlized watercolor. I only want it in certain areas. Now for those small flowers, I did end up covering up most of the coloring, but that's just because it was so small. I just felt it was easy just to kind of add the color right on top, and some of the original color does show up underneath. So as I finish adding in the additional layers of these pearlized watercolors, you can see these are really fun to be able to mix and create your own custom palettes. You're not limited to the 6 colors that you have in the original palette. Mix up colors and see what kind of custom hues you can achieve. You can see I created this really nice muted green using green, red, and blue. So that is a really great example of how you can use these to create your own custom palettes even if you don't have very many colors. So I'm finishing up by adding a little bit of gold to the centers, although I will be covering up that gold later on. So now I want to add in a tiny bit of interest to the background. I don't want this to be flat white. I want to add just a little bit of shading. So to do this, I'm taking some of the gold watercolors from the gold watercolor palette, and I'm adding in some of the gold colors in the areas that would be the darkest underneath these leaves and florals. As I'm fading this out towards the center of the paper, I'm using a lot more water, and I'm picking up some of the color with my dry rag, and that's just allowing me to get a nice faded look, so that way I don't have really stark lines where my watercoloring ends and the paper begins. Alright, so now that my coloring is done, I'm going to go ahead and mount this back into my Misty stamping tool. You can see I did not remove the stamp from my Misty when I went ahead and stamped it the first time. This is because I want to go back over top again with another layer of stamping, this time to add some pearlized accents. So I'm prepping the surface with my powder tool just to make sure there's no static or anything, and I'm inking up the stamp this time with Simon Says Stamp Clear ink. I'm going to remove the paper from my Misty and cover it with some Hero Arts White Satin Pearl embossing powder. So you might be asking right now, why didn't I just do the pearl embossing powder before I did my watercoloring? The reason is because I wanted to have the pearlized embossing powder almost kind of pick up the color underneath. I didn't want it to be a true white. I wanted it to have a tint of color underneath of my colored images. So by adding the embossing powder afterwards, I get that little bit of tint, whereas if I had done it before, I would have had a more whiter appearance, and I didn't want that. So you can see the gorgeous results here we have with the pearlized embossing powder and the pearlized watercolors. It's just a beautiful combination and really just dresses up this card. So after I went ahead and heat embossed the other floral arrangement, I'm taking this into my Tonic mini trimmer and I'm going to trim down the edges of the paper. As I'm trimming this down, that's leaving me with a little bit of space on either side of my A2 size card so that I will be able to have some of that pink pattern paper on my card base show through. I'm using some Delicata gold ink. I just love this gold. It's so beautiful. And I'm using this to edge the paper of my watercolored panel and also the paper on my card base. This just fancies it up a little bit and gives it kind of that nice fancier feel. I love gold edged paper. It's just so beautiful. To help make sure I don't get any of that pigment ink, because that Delicata ink is very wet, I'm just taking a dry rag and rubbing that over top of the edges where I added the ink, and that's just picking up some of the excess wet ink. So I'm going ahead and adding this onto my card base, but what I first want to do is create a stack of paper to add behind my panel where I did all of my watercoloring. This is because I want to get a little bit of lift off of the card base, but I don't want a full lift as if I had used fun foam or foam tape. So by adding 4 pieces of white cardstock behind my watercolor panel, this gives me a little bit of depth off of the card base, but it's not as thick as the fun foam or foam tape. So this is a great example of how you can use paper to add dimension to your card, and you don't get quite as bulky of a result. I'm going ahead and prepping the surface of some black cardstock, and I'm going to ink up a sentiment from the stamp set onto this paper. I'm using the clear ink once again. This is the word congratulations. I'm going to apply some Simon Says Stamp Antique Gold Embossing Powder. I just love this gold. It matches to the delicata really nicely. I'm going to bring in my heat gun here and heat set the sentiment. And then once I've let it cool a second, I'll go ahead and trim down the excess using my scissors, and then I'll be able to attach this down onto my card. To attach it, I'm using some foam tape. Just add a little bit of dimension off of the watercolored panel. That black just really has that nice stark contrast and makes the sentiment just stand out. But because the other images are so large, it doesn't distract from the rest of the card, so it's a perfect combination. To add some interest, I'm using some sequins from Pretty Pink Posh. These are new sequin colors that are so beautiful and match my card perfectly. And then here is a final look of how that pearlized coloring and the embossing looks together. Just so gorgeous and really goes well with the theme of this card and the feel of the card kit. So if you're interested in any of the products I used, I have them listed below in the video description, or you can go over to my blog to check it out. I hope this card has inspired you to use some of the items included in this month's card kit to create some beautiful wedding, anniversary, and engagement cards of your own. If you haven't seen all of the contents of the kit, I do have a video that shows all of the products that are included in this month's kit and also details about each item. So if you're interested in that video, go ahead and check it out. I have it on the right side of the screen here. I also have it in the video description below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so that you can see more videos from me. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you again very soon. Have a great day. Bye!